This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency will tighten national air quality standards for fine particle pollution emitted from vehicles and industrial sources for the first time since 2012, the agency said on Friday. Fine particulate matter, or soot, comes from sources ranging from power plants to cars and trucks and refineries. It causes lung and heart damage and has been found to disproportionately affect low-income communities, according to the EPA. Fine particulate matter is both deadly and extremely costly, EPA Administrator Michael Regan told reporters, adding the decision was based on science and a rigorous evaluation of available data.
Oil prices were little changed on Friday as the market balanced a weaker US dollar and mixed US jobs reports, but both crude benchmarks ended the first week of the year lower due to global recession concerns. Brent futures fell 12 cents, or 0.2%, to settle at $78.57 a barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate, WTI, crude rose 10 cents, or 0.1%, to settle at $73.77. For the week, both Brent and WTI were down over 8%, their biggest weekly dives to start the year since 2016. Both benchmarks had gained about 13% during the prior 3 weeks.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Energy futures for crude oil, refined products and natural gas have plummeted in the new year as traders reconsidered near-term worries over cold weather and fears of supply shortages and dumped contracts. Prices rose last year on worries of Europe freezing due to the loss of Russian fuel, as OPEC Plus cut production targets and as critically low US distillate stocks raised the prospect of fuel export curbs. Those fears have proven overblown, driving prices down. European gas stocks are well above seasonal norms. Saudi Aramco this week cut prices for oil shipped to Asia, and OPEC members' output unexpectedly rose last month, a Reuters survey found.
British government plans to scale back energy subsidies for businesses will see the cost of support fall by 85% during the next financial year, limiting the cost to £5 billion, $6 billion, the Daily Telegraph reported on Friday. Britain's finance ministry said on Wednesday that the government would announce to Parliament next week how it proposes to cut current support, which government forecasters estimate will cost £18 billion in the 6 months to March. Finance Minister Jeremy Hunt has called the current program unsustainably expensive. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Copper prices touched their highest in more than 3 weeks on Friday due to a weaker dollar and hopes that demand will pick up in China with new efforts to lift its troubled property sector. The dollar index slid after U.S. non-farm payrolls data showed that wage increases were less than expected even though the U.S. economy maintained a strong pace of job growth. A weaker dollar makes commodities priced in the U.S. currency cheaper for buyers using other currencies.
Iron ore prices rose on Friday on optimism around China's stepped-up policy support for the ailing domestic property sector, but persistent worries about local COVID-19 outbreaks kept the steelmaking ingredient on track for a weekly fall. The most traded May iron ore on China's Dalian Commodity Exchange ended daytime trade 1.9% higher at 855 yuan, $124.72 a ton. But with the first week of 2023 dominated by news about surging COVID infections in top steel producer China, the benchmark Dalian contract is down 1.3% for the week so far.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural
A surge in the cost of most food commodities last year, as the disruption caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine raised concerns of shortages, sent the UN Food Agency's average price index to the highest level on record. The Food and Agriculture Organization's, FAO, Food Price Index, which tracks international prices of the most globally traded food commodities, averaged 143.7 points in 2022, up 14.3% from 2021, and the highest since records started in 1990, the agency said on Friday. The index had already gained 28% in 2021 from the previous year as the world economy recovered from the impact of the pandemic. That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.